Whether you are new to eBay or you have been at this for a long time, one of the most stressful things that you will ever have happen is an angry or difficult customer. And I just went through that with someone, and I thought I would share exactly what happened and what I did. And then at the end of this video, let's talk about feedback and whether or not it even matters. I think that it does, but not for everybody. So let's dive into this, because I think you're going to be a little bit surprised at the way some of this went. Let me tell you what I sold. I sold a pair of Spingle Move collaboration tennis shoes. The retail on these is $325, and I sold them for $123. They are fantastic shoes, and I bought about 34 pairs of new ones when I bought them. These sold on a Friday afternoon about 3 o'clock, and in Penelope, our post office closes at 11 a.m. That's going to be very important. So anyway, they sell, and I can't ship them on Friday. I ship them very first thing Monday morning, and then I get a message on Thursday from the buyer. Hey there, just checking to see if I had the correct tracking. The shipping of this item is taking a lot longer than I was originally quoted. It claims today, but it is in Dallas still. How do we get this turned around? Because if these aren't here today, I may need to cancel. So just so you know, this is a common tactic that people will use. This buyer's account was created the day before they bought the shoes. They have no feedback, no previous sales. The only feedback they ended up with is the one that I leave automatically when there's a purchase. While the item is en route, they start inundating you with just stressful stuff. They're trying to get you to cancel the sale, which you can't. eBay doesn't even allow you to do that. Or refund them before the shoes get there. That allows them to keep the money and the shoes. So that's very clearly what I thought he was doing. First of all, I have 2-day shipping. So I didn't technically have to ship them Monday. I could have shipped them Tuesday. Also, that's going to be very important. These weren't running late. They were ground advantage. But let's go ahead and let's dive in, because these messages are just getting started. And I told them, I checked the tracking. They left the Dallas distribution center yesterday. They don't spend long between hubs. That said, they aren't behind schedule. You bought them on a Friday at about 3 o'clock my time. Our post office in Penelope closes at 11. So I shipped them out first thing Monday morning. As an aside, it is not possible to cancel an order once they ship. eBay doesn't allow that on either end. Neither the buyer nor the seller can do that. And the next paragraph is incredibly important for how this ends up resolved. And basically what I do in the next paragraph, I tell them that we accept returns for any reason. It doesn't even matter what the reason is. You don't like the color, they didn't fit, you changed your mind, you ran out of it. It doesn't matter. We accept returns for any reason. And I told them once again, they are not behind schedule. You just order them after the post office is closed. And I tried to keep this positive. And I said, still, I hope they arrive and that you love them. We're not done. In fact, we're just getting started. I did tell him, I wish that I had known you had some time constraints. I could have shipped them priority mail, which he is all over. He paid $10 for shipping, and that should have covered priority mail either way. At this point, he says he's just going to return to sender because they can't hold PO packages and he doesn't have a PO box. Now he's hitting me with all of the reasons that if it's late, it is catastrophic on his end. That's part of the way this works to get me to refund him, which of course I was not going to do. I didn't respond because it was at this point that I contacted eBay in between him complaining and talking about a return to sender and the question mark. I was waiting for eBay to contact me back. I did get a response, and we will look at their response too, because it's very, very important for how all of this works out. And maybe there's some things you can take away when you get one of these customers. Every time I post about a scam or a difficult customer, there is going to be somebody who's going to comment that eBay's not worth doing and it's all scammers, and that's not the case. And they're also going to tell you that eBay never backs the seller, but let's wait and see how this works out. I told them that I contacted eBay. They confirmed that I can't do, sorry for the typos, I can't do anything at this time. If you return to sender, I will get your funds returned as soon as I get it back. He said, well, check the tracking now. It's not even in Colorado yet. And you guys also just sent me an offer to buy the same shoes for $30 less. So not only did I get screwed on paying $10 for shipping, but you lowered the price. What a joke. We've actually sold a lot of these shoes, and they've been unbelievably popular for previous customers. Melody and I send out a coupon. We send out offers to people that have already bought from us, which was not a good deal for this guy. And so I said, you probably got an offer because you're a previous customer. We have a lot of those things set up, but we try and do them automatically. And at this point, he is going to threaten my feedback. I definitely won't be buying anything from y'all again. Still hasn't recalled. Keep in mind, this is Friday. I didn't have to ship them till Tuesday. I'll be filling a fraud report out at my bank for non-acceptance of the item, and I'll also be sure to leave you a nice review. The fact that you charge me for shipping when it's been 7 days is a sad cash grab on y'all's end. If it does show up, you can have it right back. I've already notified the post office. So let me talk about our shipping. Let me tell you how I do these shoes. Spingle Move is such a nice shoe that I actually put bubble wrap inside the shoebox. I wrap the shoebox in bubble wrap, and then I put that box in a whole other box. They end up around 4 pounds when they're ready to ship. Even Ground Advantage eats up $10 really, really quickly. And as far as his timeline goes, he was upset that we didn't ship that Saturday. Our post office in Penelope is only open an hour and a half. And we don't always ship on a Saturday. It had to ship on Tuesday. This is on the 21st, which is... that was Friday. This is my first round of messages that I send eBay. Let me tell you, by far, the best way to contact eBay is to send them a note on Facebook. So far for me, it has been the easiest and least stressful way to talk to somebody. This is in between the fussing and the question mark. And I sent him a note and told him what was happening, and just basically told them about this guy wanting to cancel the sale, and that I've been polite and professional, and I've been on here for a long time, and he's demanding things I can't do and that weren't reasonable. The first thing he's going to tell you, hey, if you've got a problem with the policies, go here and file a complaint with that. So you verify your account and you log in. Once you've authenticated, I also gave him the order number, which I have removed from here. And Carl lets me know that they've pulled it up and he's got the order number, so we're going to move on. This is the first customer service agent that I've talked to. Very clearly, he tells you, we don't want anybody canceling when the item is en route. And as far as them not being able to accept it, he told me something I did not know. If they return to sender, I'm not even obligated to return their money. They lose their money back guarantee. So I was really hoping this guy would just return to sender. I want to lay the groundwork because I can already tell this customer is never going to be happy. He's already decided he's not happy because this is a game. This is a scam that he is trying to run. And I did tell him, if the sender returned to sender and they showed up to me in good condition and they didn't do anything, I would still refund them. I am not trying to scam anybody. If they don't want them, that's fine. But I did want to make sure that this is cataloged, that they have a record of it. Anyway, Carl was great. I touched base with eBay on Facebook to make sure I'm handling this right in case there's any other things that I need to know, like the return to sender, which I didn't. I wake up to this feedback. Shipping was an absolute nightmare. Now keep in mind, he got them on Saturday. He did not return to sender. So he ordered them on a Friday, he got them the next Saturday, and I have 2-day shipping. Shipping was an absolute nightmare. As soon as it shipped, they tried to sell me another pair for $30 less than the one I paid for, and also charged me $10 for shipping. Took well over a week. That's false. Shoes came in worn, and they were worn and cleaned. They claimed these were new. Would not recommend buying anything from them at all. So in this comment, I wasn't worried about the shipping comment because that's easy to get taken care of because shipping wasn't a nightmare and I can show it. And as far as me taking advantage of the tools that eBay gives us to send people offers and coupons and things like that, I don't see eBay letting me get dinged for that. You start worrying a little bit about shipping because eBay does want you to offer free shipping, but I also have it stated very clearly in my listing what my shipping policies are. I did worry about the used comment. They're clearly not used at all. Like, I've got 34 pairs. I didn't buy 34 pairs of used ones. I don't have 34 anymore. But anyway, that's just him grasping at straws. It shows on this screen right here that it lowered my feedback rating to 99.6. Overall, 99.6 doesn't scare off buyers. But that's what it looked like with that on there. Once I got the negative, I fight every one of them. I even fight neutral feedback. But let me show you how I fought this one. The first step was contacting Carl in the middle of it. Now I'm going to talk to Francois. And I basically told him the same thing that you saw, is that the buyer did exactly what I expected. And I do point out, I've got over 16,000 sales. That should carry some weight over a guy who created a new account to run a scam. I don't know if that helps or not, but I like to mention it, that I'm not a new eBayer. And again, I get the first thing, if you got a problem with your policies, check here. Then I verified the account. I didn't show all that because I got to block out most of it anyway. Told him I appreciate him looking at it, and told him that I had previously contacted eBay so that they'll have a record of it. And I gave him a very quick rundown of what was happening. I pointed out some really important things on here, that he wanted me to refund him when it was en route, and that he finished by threatening me with bad feedback. And then I point out that the things that he said are untrue. The shipping went fine, and I technically didn't have to ship them until Tuesday, and he got them on Saturday, 5 business days after ordering them. It wasn't well over a week. And I also point out that this has an impact on my business. When you start accumulating negative feedback, it has an impact. But I also want to recognize, because when you're talking to eBay on Facebook, you're getting real people. And I want them to know whatever happens, I'm happy with them. And so I told Francois, like I am sorry for venting. It's not your fault. Because I want Francois on my side. And I told him, if you look at my pictures, the shoes are very clearly new and in the box. And look, in just a matter of, 5 minutes, Francois sends me the next one back. I've checked the feedback of the order. I understand the situation is frustrating. And the first thing I thought when I read that is, like, he's going to give me bad news, but he didn't. You've communicated with the buyer. You've accepted the returns. Your delivery charges are clearly stipulated. I hardly see how you could have done better here. You shipped the order on time and the buyer received it. I intervened and removed the feedback. You'll see this reflected on your feedback profile within 2 hours. I advise you to block the buyer. I assume that you know how to do that. If not, let me know and I'll send you the link. That's how this sale went. Let me tell you how important the last message is from Francois, because he tells me exactly what he's looking for. And I think that's where the gold is when you're dealing with a difficult customer. And so let's break this down. I communicated with the buyer. I have to talk to him. If I just ignore this guy, I'm going to lose. 2, I've accepted returns right away at the beginning. I accept returns, and I made it very clear in my messaging, I'll take returns for any reason whatsoever. All you got to do is send it back to me. And I shipped it on time, and the buyer got it. I think those things combined are really, really important. Let's talk about for just a second, is it even important to get negatives removed? Honestly, in my situation or anybody in my situation, when you've got hundreds of feedback, mine is sitting at 6,000, I think, somewhere in that neighborhood. One negative feedback does not have a tremendous impact on my percentage or my business. If I had done nothing with this, I don't think it would stop anybody from buying from me. In fact, after reading his feedback, let's say that Francois just couldn't do it for whatever reason. Even if I think Francois got the answer wrong, at this point, now, if they can't take it off, I'm going to go and I'm going to respond to the negative feedback. And my goal there isn't to convince the guy who left the negative of anything. If you read the feedback, and you followed all the messages, he and I aren't ever going to be on the same page. What I do want to do is I want to respond in such a way that anybody that reads that feedback is going to think I'm the sane one. Think about this for a minute. When you look at feedback, do you read all the positive ones or do you go straight to the negative ones? Him leaving me a negative gives me an opportunity to go in and speak to the next buyer. It's a tremendous tool that we can respond to negative feedback. And I can point out some things without getting into an argument with him. I'm going to be professional, and I just want to let the next buyer know that this didn't work out for this guy, but we're pretty easy to work with. You just have to be, I'm not sure how I'd word it because I didn't have to word it. But a negative, when you have feedback, is not the end of the world. I look at it as the end of the world because of how I'm wired. The reality of it is, it isn't. Kat, my friend, the nurse flipper, she just doesn't bother with them. She doesn't communicate with them. She doesn't try and get them. Her time is more valuable than the time it takes to get one removed. And trust me, you can read all the messages. I spent some time trying to get this resolved. When feedback does matter is when you're new. If you only had, say, 6 or 7 feedback and you get a negative, it is really going to hit that percentage hard. People are going to look at you then and they're going to be like, wow, this is a new account. Look how low their percentage is. And they may not check to see it's one guy doing that to you. If you're new, the first thing you got to do is do your best to avoid any negatives, any neutrals. Do your very best to take care of your customers. Do those things that Francois mentioned in this paragraph so that if it happens, your odds of getting it taken care of go up. I did get a chance to visit with eBay when I went out to the Boss Reseller Remix. And they told me that it's getting very difficult to remove negative feedback. Like eBay wants to have authentic feedback, and if things are opinions, they're going to leave them. But Francois gave us the formula for increasing our odds. I felt like more than just fussing about a difficult customer. There's really, truly some valuable stuff here. So that's it for this video. I truly appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to see you real soon on the next one. Bye.